Some Canadians are celebrating U.S. President-elect Joe Biden's victory, but his administration could come with both helpful and potentially harmful changes to the U.S. and Canada's relationship. Joining us with more on this is the Globe and Mail's Adrian Morrow. Adrian, good to see you this morning.
Good to see you too, Lindsey.
All right, so yesterday on CTV's Question Period, Foreign Affairs Minister François-Philippe Champagne said the election of Joe Biden and Kamala Harris is good news for Canada. What are some of the immediate benefits?
I think that the number one is probably the stability. Joe Biden is a sort of normal politician who operates according to kind of normal rules and and is relatively predictable. And so the Trudeau government is going to have, I think, a relatively easy time kind of dealing with his White House just on the kind of mechanics of the relationship. Being able to set up meetings and talk to people there and kind of know what to expect from Joe Biden, which is something that they never had with Donald Trump. I mean, Trump was often volatile, changed his mind all the time, would kind of make policy on the fly, and so on. During the renegotiations of the NAFTA agreement that eventually turned into USMCA, the Prime Minister's office basically had to spend a huge amount of its bandwidth, almost all of its attention on just managing that relationship because they never knew what Trump was going to do sort of one day to the next. So I think with Biden, it's going to be a much more kind of conventional relationship that's more predictable and stable and sort of easy to manage.
Let's talk about some of the issues, though, like pipelines, for example. That comes to mind.
Yeah.
What does this mean for pipelines?
Yeah, I mean, that would be. Biden basically has sort of gone back to the Barack Obama position on pipelines, where he's come out in opposition to Keystone XL, and after Donald Trump had basically reversed Obama's position and sort of allowed Keystone to start moving forward, although they faced a lot of other sort of legal challenges and problems along the way that have kind of led to the start-stop construction over the last 4 years. Biden basically has opposes the pipeline, could come in and basically just completely shut it down at the beginning of his administration. So that's sort of one area where the U.S. position would not be as as friendly to Canada as it was under Donald Trump. And then there's other things that just simply won't change. I mean, there's certain trade disputes over softwood lumber and other things like that where, basically the two parties in the U.S. are relatively aligned. And so, I don't see Joe Biden, changing the U.S.'s position, towards Canada on any of that.
During Joe Biden's speech, Adrian, the victory speech, he promised a new science-based approach to the COVID-19 pandemic. Do you think this will lead to the border opening sooner than later? What's your assessment?
It's hard to say, but I'd say the bottom line for Joe Biden on COVID-19 is that he spent a lot of the election basically attacking Donald Trump's handling of the pandemic and saying Donald Trump didn't take it seriously, hasn't done enough, and I will do a lot more to kind of take the pandemic seriously and try to get it under control. And so I don't see Joe Biden wanting to reopen the Canada-U.S. border until such time as it's clear that the pandemic is under control, or at the very least you have a massive sort of decrease in cases, and that just isn't happening right now. I mean, both countries, you're seeing these increases across the U.S. I think it's 40 out of 50 states. There's been increasing caseloads. Around 1,000 people a day are dying in this country, and so it's really hard to imagine that Joe Biden would change the situation at the border, or I think with loosen any sort of measures at all until things really start to improve here. So I wouldn't, I certainly wouldn't sort of bank on something like that happening anytime soon, unless we're in a different place somehow by the end of January, where cases really are going down.
Adrian Morrow, always good to see you. Thanks so much.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for watching. If you like this, be sure to subscribe here.
And you can check out more Your Morning videos right here.